Zimbabwe is endowed with everything that we can ever want under the sun. But we lack one thing. We lack leadership. It's one thing having leaders. Any country can have leaders. In fact, anyone can be a leader. But it's one thing to have leadership. And that's what we lack. In spite of all the fancy titles, your worship, honorable, your excellency, but you cannot call yourself excellent when you cannot provide your own citizens with water. You cannot call yourself excellent if you cannot provide your own citizens with electricity. And we're talking about towns, urban areas. We're not even referring to rural areas, although in other developed countries or developing countries, even rural areas now expect electricity, expect their own potable water in their homes. But here we are in Zimbabwe, one of the most richly endowed countries on this planet with over 40 minerals. And yet we are busy plundering those resources. Look at the power utility. All we hear about are millions and millions of dollars being looted from that establishment to enrich those who are in power, yet the country does not have electricity. Look at local authorities. We do not even have water in our homes. Most have gone for months. Others have gone for years without water. Old women, men, children have to queue at boreholes. We have to gather water that is raining from our gutters to provide for our families. And yet we say we've got a leadership in Zimbabwe. That is not leadership. Yes, leaders, it's a title. Anyone can have a title. But leadership, it's a quality. It's what you do with that position of being a leader. What are you able to provide? What are you able to produce? Are you able to cater for the people that you are leading? Are you able to improve and add value to their livelihoods? If you cannot do that, you are not a leader. Don't call yourself a leader. It's just a title, an empty title, but leadership means that you are able to take care of that old woman. You are able to take care of that widow. You are able to take care of that pensioner. You are able to take care of the young generation, the children that are growing up today. Do they have a future? Do they actually see themselves in this country, in Zimbabwe, and say, I have a future. When I grow up, I'm going to be so and so. Or do they just look forward to being vendors, to be makorokoza, artisanal miners? What do our children actually look forward to being when they're going to school? No wonder most of them drop out of school. No wonder most of them even end up taking drugs and just ruining their own lives because they do not see any hope in a country like this. The only people we have hope in this country is when you go into politics. And when you go into politics, you go into government. And that's why we have a ruling elite that does not want to get out of power. They will rather kill to retain that power. Why? Because they know outside there, out of those offices, outside of that gravy train, there is poverty, there is suffering. That's why they say it's lonely out there. They cannot survive outside the realms of power. And you cannot then call yourself a leader if the only person that is being taken care of is yourself, is number one, and your family, and your friends, and your relatives. And the rest, the millions of Zimbabweans, have to be fed by non-governmental organizations, have to be fed by the United Nations for you. And yet you call yourself a leader. That is not leadership. You should be ashamed if you are to call yourself your excellency. And yet your own nation is being fed by donor countries, is being fed by other countries. Yet the millions of dollars that we are supposed to get from our mineral resources, that we are supposed to get from the riches that God provided provide us with, are being spent frivolously by those in power. They can go on holiday in the United States of America and they show us the pictures. They're not ashamed. They can charter private planes for millions of dollars, and yet their own people have nothing to eat. Their own people are being fed by other countries. We have to go around because we have no electricity and we have to beg for leftovers from neighboring countries. Mozambique, do you have anything that you left over from providing for your own people? South Africa, do you have anything that you've left over from providing your own people? So what about Zimbabwe? Reduced to a nation of beggars. We have to go around begging for leftovers. That is embarrassing. That is a shame. There's nothing excellent about that. Excellency, just like leadership, should be seen in what you deliver, should be seen in what you provide, it should be seen in what you're able to do for the people that you lead. And as far as Zimbabwe is concerned, there's nothing excellent about being your excellency. It's a shame, it's a disgrace, It's abominable. Zimbabweans are suffering, and they've suffered enough. And we are suffering because people are greedy and they just want to take care of themselves. That has to end. People have had enough, I think.